So before we begin this presentation and orientation, let us present a video clip about our school.
Becoming an Olympian started with a dream. A dream that, at an early age, was fostered by a community. A community that sharpened both my mind and my heart. To show the world that we can make history. A dream to be the best person I can be and give others their chance to dream. Hi, I'm EJ Obiena, a proud graduate of CKS College, Batch 2012.
As I was saying, a German proverb about parenting states that the great parents provide their children with both roots and wings.
在一个德国的一个谚语有说过，家长他代表的是 OK 一个伟大的家长，他会提供学生或提供小孩他们的一个根本以及他们翅膀去飞翔。
Roots establish a firm foundation of education, while wings offer the freedom to soar through opportunities and hone their skills.
所谓的根本指的是说一个坚强的基础教育，而翅膀指的是说让学生让孩子们能够自由的去展开双翅飞翔。
Today, we mark a significant moment as we equip our children with these very tools for a higher, brighter, stronger future through education.
今日我们群聚在一起，就是为了这个重大的时刻，我们能够来让我们的孩子们拥有这些技能。
I am Mr. Ian and I will be your host for today's PYP Parents Orientation.
刚才说话的是 Sir Ian， 他是今天的一个主持人，那也是我们今天家长课程说明会的MC。
And with me is our director for IB Education, Ms. Liling Ma, to help us with our Chinese translation.
本人我是Patrick Elgate 的国际文凭教育的总主任。那今天我的职责的话是替大家翻译。
So for some gentle reminders during our orientation, kindly ensure your microphones are muted for the duration of the orientation.
有一些重要的事项想提醒各位家长，在会议的过程中，请大家关闭麦克风。
Should you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box.
如果有任何的疑问，可以先在我们的聊天室里面以打字的方式跟我们去做互动。那所有的问题，我们会在我们的呈现之后一一作答。
Our administrators will address your inquiries following the presentation.
在我们的 presentation， 也就是我们的说明会之后，我们所有的行政人员会根据大家的问题一一作答。
We kindly request that you maintain professional decorum throughout the orientation.
也请大家一定要保持良好的线上会议礼仪哦，谢谢。
And of course, we would like to request dear parents to open your camera so that we can see each other, as this is the first time that we're going to have a face-to-face, or should I say Zoom face-to-face orientation.
也请各位家长在网络允许下打开摄像头，让我们能够更好的去做互动。毕竟这是我们第一次借由 Zoom 的方式来看到各位家长，也与各位家长能够在线上互动。
As we gather today, we are graced to have the following people in our event, our PYP orientation. Let me introduce the following people who joined us via Zoom.
今天很荣幸的在这一场的 PYP 课程说明会，我们也邀请到了一些重要的人物来到了现场，跟我们一起互动。那接下来就由 Sir Ian 一一的来介绍我们的人员。
To start, we have our Directress for Institutional Advancement and Development, Mrs. Margaret Salvador.
首先，我们要介绍我们的Margaret，OK，她是我们如果收生处的话，我们的总主任。那如果有对于新进的学生，您有什么样的问题都可以找她。
We also have here with us Ms. Liling Ma, our Directress for IB Continuum.
OK，再来，伊恩介绍是我本人的话，现在是在目前马尼拉校区负责国际文凭，那我是这里的总主任。
We have here Ms. Luz Vimindasim, our school registrar.
还有跟我们在一起的有我们的学校的注册部的主任，就是我们的 Mrs. Sim。
We also have our Vice Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Alberto Lee.
很高兴的，我们的副董事长 ，OK，Sir Albert 也跟我们一起在现场。
We also have, of course, our beloved college president, Dr. Judelio Yao.
与我们在一起，还有我们最敬爱的大家长，我们的叶启明校长。
And our PYP coordinator in the Padre Algue campus, and our speaker for today, Ms. Abigail Gamban.
当然，还有我们等一下要来介绍课程的，也就是我们现在目前在马尼拉校区的 PYP 主任 Miss Gamban。
So these are the people who will help us to answer your queries and your concerns throughout the orientation.
以上所有介绍的人员，等一会在我们的问与答中，如果家长有任何的问题，都会有相关的部门的主任、总主任来跟大家做一一的回答。
All right, so let's get the ball rolling. So this is our agenda for today. We started with our reminders, and now we're going to our main event, our PYP orientation. Later on, after the presentation, we'll now answer some of your questions and your concerns, but you already sent your questions in advance.
OK，那在画面上所看到就是今日课程说明会的一个流程。刚才我们已经提醒大家了，就是在会议的过程中，大家要尽量的关闭麦克风，但是就是鼓励各位家长能够打开您的摄像头。那第二个就是接下来我们所要呈现的就是 PYP 的一个课程说明会。那紧接着在课程说明会之后，我们将会有一个问与答。那家长如果在我们呈现课程说明会的时候有什么样的问题，都可以利用聊天室的方式，先把您的问题打下来，那之后我们会一一的说明。谢谢。
Without further ado, I'm now passing the floor to our PYP coordinator in Padre Algue campus, Ms. Abigail Gamban.
那现在我们就来开始我们的家长说明会。
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Ian. Good morning, everybody. I hope we are having a good day. It's already 9 o'clock, and I'm very thankful for everybody coming here.
OK， 谢谢大家今天拨冗参加我们的 PYP 课程说明会。
All right. So I'd like to start to share that last January 13, we had our roadshow at King Bee Chinese Food, and that is where maybe some of you came, maybe there are new faces that we are going to meet today, but I will be giving you a glimpse of what happened last January 13.
在座的各位，有些可能已经有参加过我们第一次在1月13号所举办的 Road Show。那我们的地点是在我们的卡比德校区附近的一个蜂王餐厅。那等一下呢 ，Miss Gamban 还是会再稍微回说一下上一次我们在第一场的 Road Show 里面所呈现的内容。
All right. So first off, we give you a glimpse of what International Baccalaureate is. It is an internationally renowned program known to be a continuum that caters students from ages 3 to 19 years old. That is for the PYP, that is for kinder to grade 5, MYP from grade 6 to grade 10, and the diploma program from grade 11 and 12. So this is a continuum program that supports our students from kinder until senior high school or the grade 12.
OK，首先我们先让大家看一下什么叫做 IB 国际文凭课程哦。那 IB 国际文凭课程的话，它是一个持续教育的课程，它从孩子3岁开始，一直到19岁。所以呢，像我们在中正我们马尼拉校区所举办的就是一个持续性的课程。那3岁到12岁就是参加我们的 PYP 小学项目。那11到16岁的同学们就是参加我们的中学项目 ，OK MYP。那到了11年级、12年级的话，就是我们的DP 课程。那它叫做大学预科项目。
Now, okay. Now we are also shared with everybody that the Padre Albi campus is already an IB World School wherein we offer all the programs in our campus, and that is also our goal for our Southmont campus.
在这里要跟大家分享的是，我们中正的 Padre Albi 校区已经是 IB 的世界学校，而且我们的世界学校是3个program 都有的，也就是从 PYP、MYP 到 DP， 我们都是世界学校。那也是因为这样子，我们的董事会很有心，我们在另外一个校区，在所谓的 Cavite 校区，我们会如此的去做所谓的国际文凭教育。
We also shared last time the framework of our program, where how the program works, how we support the agency of our students through voice, choice, and ownership, and what are the roles or some of the roles of the learners, the teachers, and the learning community to help the students.
在画面上你可以看到的是，其实我们上次在 roadshow 也呈现过了，就是 PYP 的一个教育过程，它的一个目的性。那可以看到最大的区块有3个，有学习者有教与学，还有学习共同体。那这个部分的话，其实等一下我们会加以说明。
We talked about how the program is transdisciplinary. We tried to, we explained how all the subjects help each other to make a big understanding that makes an impact into the children's learning. We understand concepts through the real world problems.
OK， 在 PYP 国际文凭教育中，也就是 PYP 是我们的小学项目中，我们所学习的不是单科的学习，而是超学科的学习。所谓的超学科学习，就是每一个科目它们都是互相连接、互相有关联的。那最重要的是，在核心的部分，我们所讨论的是现实世界的问题。
Yeah. And of course, the goal of the PYP program is for all our students to attain these 10 attributes or these 10 learner profiles. It is believed in the program that when a person or when a student has these 10 profiles, they are to be internationally minded.
OK， 我们的目标在国际文凭教育上面，就是要塑造一个全人教育。那套一句中国人所说的"十全十美"的教育，也就是说，在荧幕上所看到的10项 OK 特质，是我们希望在未来我们的孩子身上，我们都可以看到的。
Okay. Today, I would like to share with you the transdisciplinary themes or our guide in our curriculum. These teams guide the PYP program every year. Okay, these are 6 teams, namely who we are, where we are in place and time, how we organize ourselves.
OK， Miss Gamban, allow me. OK， 我们在超学科教育上面其实 刚才说到的，就是说在我们的一个课程上面，其实我们是环绕着六个大主题来进行的。每一个年级都是环绕着6个超学科的主题。那这6个超学科的主题，其实都是现实生活上面都会发现的问题。那在这里我们所展现的就是我们是谁的，这是一个主题。我们身处什么时空，还有我们如何去规划我们自己。那这3个主题 ，OK， 是我们超学科主题中的其中3个。那下一张 slide 会有另外一个3个的主题。Let's go ahead.
The next 3 are how we express ourselves, how the world works, and sharing the planet. These
另外
6 themes talk about or addresses the real world problems. And it is in these themes or in these real world problems where the students explore the issues that the world faces, the different cultures. We learn about history and people and their traditions. And these themes exposes our students to making an action that would help the world a better place.
另外3个大主题的话，就是像我们现在荧幕上所呈现的，我们如何表达自己，世界是如何运作的，共享地球。其实从这6个主题来看，其实学生们从小他所学习的都是跟我们的生活紧紧相关的。那原因无他，就是希望说他长大之后能够对这个社会有所贡献，那了解社会上面 OK 这个世界上所发生的一个现象，那对孩子们来讲这是最好的。
Okay, but of course the question is, if we are talking about these big concepts, how does this look like inside the classroom? How do the students grasp these big ideas?
那当然讲了那么多，可能对 IB、PYP 没有不认识的家长，你们会觉得很迷茫、很模糊，这些概念那么的大，孩子们怎么可能去处理呢？尤其是从幼稚园开始，他们就要接触这样子的一个6大主题的学习。那现在接下来就让我们来呈现一下 PYP 的一个课程在教室里面是怎么样的操作跟运作的。
All right. Okay, so as I said earlier, our approach is transdisciplinary, wherein all the subjects are connected and connect to each other to make all the real world problems and the concepts applied there be more understandable by the students. And it is in our subject, the one in the middle, okay, that subject is called UOI, or what we call Unit of Inquiry.
大家可以看到就像我们说的，传统的教育是单科的一个教授。那很多时候在传统教育里面，我们找不到所谓的连结。学生学完了数学，学完了自然，学完科学，他不会觉得说这些科目有什么关联。但是呢，在我们 PYP 的超学科教育上面，每一个科目它是紧紧的连接在一起。那我们靠的是什么东西是让它能够连接在一起呢？那就是我们在中间的单元探索，也就是英文的 Unit of Inquiry。我们是利用 Unit of Inquiry 将所有的科目都聚集在一起，变成是有相关性的。
Okay, now I want you to take a look at our sample schedule here. Please take note that this schedule is based on our Padre Algue campus, and that we would look into the schedule as well of Montessori, so that when we make a timetable, it would be patterned to the Montessori that is already existing in Southmont. As you can see here, our schedule, or the schedule of the students, has a lot of UOIs, at least 12 periods in a week. Okay, and all the other periods there are also the subjects that would be present in their timetable and curriculum.
各位在荧幕上看到是我们 Padre Algue PYP 的一个课程时间表，那以及课程的安排哦。那我们还是要强调，这是我们马尼拉校区的时间表。那如果在我们的 Cavite 校区，就是我们的 Southmont 的校区的话，我们的时间表会有所改变。第一个改变就是为了配合我们已经成立的蒙特梭利幼儿园的一个时间表，这样子对家长来讲，在接送孩子上面的话会比较方便。所以这个只是一个 范例时间表。那大家可以看到哦，我们放了很多的时间在 UOI， 那 UOI 是我们之前所说的单元探索 Unit of Inquiry， 原因无他，我们希望孩子从小就学会问问题，而且是学会问好的问题。那所以在这个部分上面的话，我们占的时间很多。那其他的科目我们都给了他相当的一个重视，也就是说，他的课程时间其实跟其他的科目都是比较一样的哦，时间上面不会说过多或过少。那我们给很多的一个关注是在 UOI， 因为我们希望孩子们从小培养他的好奇心，他的发问力，所以我们放了很多的时间是在 UOI 上面。
All right. Okay. Now, it is important to note that each unit that the students have, there are 6 weeks, okay, that helps them in that unit. And in those 6 weeks, this is what we do. We travel or we follow the inquiry cycle in those 6 weeks. It started with tuning in, then we find out, sorting out, going further, making conclusions, and then taking actions. And then later on, I will go through each on what we do on this cycle.
OK， 那当然大家会有一个疑问，要怎么引导学生去问问题呢？那当然，在 IB 的一个教育上面，我们有一个叫做探究循环，就是 The Inquiry Learning Circle。那你可以看到，我们会先从turning in 前期的导入，循序渐进的，一直到采取行动。那接下来我们在下面的 slide 上面的话，我们在下面的 PPT 会一一的对各位家长呈现，我们是如何在教室里面做到这个探究循环的。
Okay. Right. First off, the students is part of a unit in tuning in, where the students are exposed to various materials, various models, where the students can ask a lot of questions. Okay, for this example, we have the grade 1 students here in our Padre Alve campus, wherein they are learning about how food travels from the farm to their table. So at the beginning of the unit, they are looking into what are the things that they need? What are the things that helps them live? How can we identify a want from a need? And these are the thoughts that they have, the ones that are in the sticky notes. And these are some of their group works wherein they identified how much they need something.
在前期的导入中，像目前画面上所说的，我们怎么去做这些事情呢？我们是拿我们的 Padre L 给1年级的小朋友的一个课程来加以说明哦。假设说我们要来谈论食物是怎么样从最原始的农场一直到我们的餐桌上的。那这时候学生第一个他可能要跟他之前所学的相关联，所以也是把他的 prior knowledge 他之前所学过的知识拿出来相结合，所以他可能要先了解有哪些食物是他在餐桌上常常会吃到的。那第一个他所谓的表现的话，就是在语言上面，以我们的学校就有中文、非语、英文3样方式去做表现。那接下来的话就是说，当我们要把食物从农场，然后慢慢的到最后呈现到我们的餐桌上需要的步骤，所以你可以发现学生们会在 sticky notes 上面，也就是我们的那种绿色的粘贴纸上面，他会去做一些思考，老师也都会把学生们的一个想法分享出来，因为这个一个 inquiry cycle 是不断的让学生发现他们自己也成长了，他们自己的想法也改变了，所以在每一个阶段都非常的重要。
All right. Now, once we have gathered all those information, the questions that they want to ask, the things that they want to know, we guide them as teachers to the finding out stage. Finding out means really finding out, looking deeper into what are the details that the questions that they have, what should answer. Okay? So there are a lot of process in this finding out stage, one of which is having interviews, wherein we invite people, the teachers find experts for the students to interview. Another one is they also, through finding out stage, we invite the parents to be interviewed as well by their students or by the children. This one is an example wherein our student interviewed her grandma for the unit that they have. And of course, taking the learning outside. We were lucky that our Week Without Walls happened during this unit, wherein our students were able to go out of the classroom, learn how to plant things, and learn how to make plants grow. Okay.
那第二个步骤的话就是收集讯息。那您可以知道，就是说像我们的第一个 turning in 的时候，学生开始对有一些事情有一些疑惑，有一些问题。那在第二个部分的话，就是他要把他的问题去利用这个问题，然后呢去开展，然后呢去询问，去收集资料。所以刚才在前面的 slide 上面，Miss Gamban，can we go to the previous 2 slides？所以在前面的 slide 上面，你会发现学生们开始怎么样去收集资料呢？他开始访问，那这时候你可以看到学生们他在访问不同的人，因为呢，他针对他自己的问题，然后呢，针对不同的人，他可能得到不一样的答案，甚至就是像 next slide， 他会去访问他的一个奶奶。OK， 那这些都是我们学生他要去做 finding out 的时候，他必须他必须要多了解的。
All right. Now, after they find out answers to the questions that they have raised, learned more, not about the things that they are interested about, we guide them to the sorting out stage, wherein we help them to analyze, group their thoughts, organize their ideas well, so that we can come up to the central idea, or to the idea that where we would want them to go.
OK， 那在访问之后，学生根据他们自己的问题，再去访问的相关人员之后，或者说找到相关资料之后，他们要去整理资料。那我们这个不管是大人小孩，如果说今天我们在做 research， 一样都是要这样子，要去整理资料，把自己的一个想法跟问题配合下来。所以你可以看到画面上，学生们又开始拿起了 sticky notes， 拿起了 Catalina， 因为他们开始要去做所谓的资料的整理，把他们的想法，把他们的问题，或者说他们获得的资讯一一的展现出来。那当然这些都是在老师的引导下去完成的。
It is also important to know that in the sorting out stage is where we debunk some ideas, where we go back to the first stage, the tuning in, we go back to their questions, we try to answer all their questions, and we allow the students to compare their answers with each other and see which one has the correct one. So that is also part of our activities in sorting stage.
但是在整理资料的这个循环中，学生会不断的在往前去前溯。像我们在 turning in 学生所提出来的问题，那到第二个步骤的 finding out， 他发现可能他的问题跟他所访问的问题可能有不一样的时候，那同学们跟同学们之间会去比较自己的答案，然后去了解说到底是不是要加以修正，还是说我自己走错了方向。我相信大家可能，我们身为大人，如果有做过 research 的话，也是这样子的。有时候走着走着路走歪了，再走回来。好，所以呢，这个部分都是在老师的引导下所进行的。
All right. And once we have sorted out their ideas and their answers, we take it further by them trying out the research that they have looked into. So for this picture, for the unit wherein they learn about farm to table, they looked and they made this food. We have pastillas, and we have here an ice candy where the students look into where the milk come from, how do sugar become the small grains that we have now, and this is their output.
OK， 在我们的前面几个探索之后，那接下来就是进入到的深入探究。深入探究的话，就是可能学生们有的时候是要做实验，有的时候就是要去做更多的探究，看看说他们之前所收集的资料，那所询问的问题是不是可以 OK 呈现。
And this is their final product. They sold they created like their own store where they are going to sell their food. And this is also where you would see how other subjects come into place. for their visual arts and math and English and all the other subjects, they came into all this summative assessment that they had. For math, they learned about money, and they use Play Money to sell these products that they have. They created their own logos for their brands. They learned in English how to make a procedural text to explain how they came up with their products, and all the other subjects help into making those understandings.
那接下来的话就是得出结论，OK，那你可以看到，就是说学生们已经慢慢的在一步一步的一个探索过程中得出了一个结论，所以呢，像他们就会展开他们自己想要做的事情。像这个部分的话，1年级的学生就决定要开一个商店。那刚才 Miss Gamban 有讲到，所有的科目就进来了，像数学，他可能就是学到怎么样使用钱，OK，因为他们可能要去贩售他们自己的商品。那其他的老师，像说 Visual Arts 的老师，可能就是会教他们说要怎么样去做出海报，去贩卖这些东西。那甚至像说我们的语文教育上面的话，就可能有中文，我们要想象说你可能有中国人的客人，那你可能要用中文去呈现。所以这时候所有的科目就是都是把它掺杂在一起，然后去进行所谓的教学。那这也就是我们所谓的 summative 就是我们的一个评估性的一个测验，就是从这里开始发生的。
Yeah. And taking actions. We believe in the program that a meaningful learning results to action. And for this unit, the students planted their own mango seeds to just to see for themselves, can they get mango seed? Will they be able to eat the mango seed that they planted? And so they had their activity of planting mango seeds inside the classroom, and they have monitored the growth of these seeds.
在 PYB 的教育中我们从小就是希望孩子所学能够运用到生活上面，所以采取行动这个步骤是非常重要的。所以当孩子们学习到了所谓的农场上面到餐桌上，所以他们也想要试试看，就是说种绿豆 ，OK？ 那他们种绿豆是不是可以自己种出来，可以自己孵出豆芽，然后呢可以上桌使用？所以我们也会让学生去做这样子的一个行动。
There. Now, I want everybody to take a look at this picture. Okay, I'll give you at least 10-20 seconds to observe what is in this picture.
我们看一下这张图片那我相信大家稍微观察一下所有的动物跟我上面也有写了一些中文，那它的英文意思就是说，大家为了公平的分班，我们都必须要参加相同的考试。那这个考试很简单，就是爬一棵树。大家观察一下这些动物，然后我们所要考试的题目叫做爬树的话，大家的感受如何？
Okay, so I think for the parents now, you might be asking, you might be already thinking it is quite different. Obvious, the pictures that you've seen, the process that the students are going into. And in this picture, you will see that the teacher, the one that is sitting there, is asking everybody to do the same thing. And that is exactly how different the PYB approach is to the traditional curriculum.
可以看到其实这张图片也代表了我们过去比较传统的教育方式，就是不管大家的一个能力，不管大家的一个资质，那老师所采取的都是相同的东西。那您可以看到里面这些动物真正能够爬树的有谁？那这个到底是公平的一个教育吗？是好的教育吗？这值得我们深思。
All right. Now, in a traditional curriculum, there, one size fits all, even if it doesn't fit. One size fits all. This is the one thing that we're going to do. This is how we are going to do it. That's how it looks like in a one size fits all education. But the PYP curriculum, or the program that we are following, we made it to measure. We make it tailored to the student, what the student needs, what are the needs of the student. We tailor our the things that they need to learn to fit them so that they will be able to understand them. And how do we do that? We approach it, we give them a differentiated approach. We differentiate our how we teach. We differentiate the activities that are being offered to them so that the student can learn the same thing or appreciate the same topic that we have on his own learning style. Second, I'll finish.
Miss Gamba, that will be too long for me.
Okay, all right, Miss. Go.
OK，我们稍微讲一下哦，在传统的教育哦，通常就是 one size fits all 哦，就是我就使用一种版本，那你会不会，那是你家的事情哦。那在这种传统教育上面，其实很多孩子是受伤长大的哦，就是在环境中因为适应不良，但是没有办法长大之后可能所走的路线也不一样，但是现在我们有多了一种教育的选择方式 ，PYP 的教育就是它有所谓的个人计划教育，那这个部分是非常好的，就是说老师能够看到每一个学生的亮点 ，OK， 每一个学生的优点、缺点在哪里。那在课程上面的设计，我们是所谓的因材施教型，也就是说，有的同学可能在数学上面他比较慢。那我们可能就是在数学上面会稍微用比较简单的方式去引导他。那有些同学可能在语文方面他是比较强的，那我们也有利用不同的一个方式，去让学生们能够学得更多。那这个部分的话，就是我们的因材教育，也就是说，在我们的国际文凭 PYP 小学项目下，我们都会做的。Let's go ahead, Ms.
All
Gamba.
right. It's also something that I want to share with everybody is that at the beginning of every school year, there is 2 weeks that we allot for the Learning to Learn week. This is where we get to know the students. We get to know the subjects that they like, the subjects that they don't like, the things where the skills that they already have, and we plan them. We plan their learning for the whole school year based on that 2 weeks. What are the skills that we want them to improve on? What are the skills that that the student is already good at, and how can we help them improve them more? So that 2 weeks, the Learning to Learn weeks, is we prepare a personalized learning plan that we share with the students through a conference, through a one-on-one parent-teacher conference.
OK， 在这里要稍微一提的就是说，在 PYP 的教育中，我们每一次在开学的第一周跟第2周，我们会所做的事情是不是教学，而是我们会去观察学生他所喜欢的科目，他所比较不擅长的科目，那他所会的技能哦。举例来讲，像在我们的 IB 教育，其实我们有一个最重要的就是教孩子如何钓鱼，也就是说我们会教他们技能，学习技能的部分。有的时候可能有一些学生他不是不会，他可能在时间管理上面比较弱。那有些同学可能就是在我们说语文上面的学习，他可能听跟说的能力很强，但是在读跟写的能力上面是需要加强的。在这个部分的话，我们会在前2周跟小朋友进行互动，然后呢，也从小朋友身上去观察到。那最后我们会跟家长1对1的开会，就是说，有小朋友、有家长、有老师。那针对这样子每一个小朋友，我们会有所谓的 personal learning plan， 就是所谓的个人学习计划。就是说，在这1年中，我们希望小朋友在哪个技能上面能够更加强，那他哪些技能已经很好了，我们也会让家长知道。所以，为什么我们说这个 PYP 的一个教育是 made to measure， 就是这个原因。
Okay. Then we are supported by a learning support. we have learning support to help us guide the students to cater their different learning styles, and for enhancements, we have an after school academic support. This and for the ASAS, as we call it here, we provide specialized teaching for a specific subject that they need help with, especially with the languages.
在我们的 IB 教育里面哦，尤其是 PYP，因为我们的人数也比较少哈，每班的人数都是有限制的，不是像传统班级一大堆。那在这个部分下面，我们希望说每一个孩子我们都可以照顾得到，所以在国际文凭下面，我们还有一个所谓的 Learning Specialist，也就是在学习支持上面，我们有一个专家。那如果说我们的老师发现学生在某个学习上面他有困难的时候，我们会把学生转介给 learning specialist， 就是所谓的学习专家。那请他们再帮我们看一下学生的问题可能出现在哪里，是不是需要给额外的支持。那另外在学术方面的话，像说在语言上面的学习，可能每一个人的起点不一样，有些人可能是中文零起点，好像 Chinese zero based， 或者说有可能是从外地才刚移民过来的新移民，那就是自己的语言能力上面，可能他不是每一个都很对等的时候，我们有一个课后的加强课程来帮助孩子们的学习。
All right. Now, let's go back to the framework. We have talked about the learners. You have also heard about how we do the teaching. Now, for the learning community, who are the ones involved in this part?
OK，我们再回来这张图片上面，我们刚才讲了哦，学生的学习最重要就是学习者，还有教与学上面。那刚才我们前面也跟大家分享了，在 PYP 课程里面，老师会是怎么样去引导学生的学习，怎么去教学生。那接下来我们要来看一块最重要的，也就是 the learning community。请问一下，在我们的一个学习的一个社区中，最重要的是谁？
Okay. Now, what are the roles in the learning process of the kids? How can you help them in their inquiry?
在学习社区中哦，其实所扮演的角色就有学生，还有老师，当然最重要的还有家长您。所以，身为家长，我们要如何协助学生进行探究？我相信这也是很多家长在没有接触国际文凭中没有想过的。但是，我们希望家长也能够融入这个所谓的学习社区里，然后呢，我们大家不断的协助我们的孩子能够一起成长。
First, you can attend our parent coffees. Every year there are 3 parent coffees. It is where all the parents come into one place to share their experiences. How are their kids? We create a community for the parents so that they can share with each other the things that they are experiencing in the program, as well as help each other into the strategies that one parent used to help the other student in one style or in one learning difficulty or something. So something like that. The parent coffees, we have targeted topics so to help the parents understand the jargons that are in the PYP program.
我相信有些家长到目前为止会觉得说，我对 PYP 还是很模糊。其实这个 PYP 不可能是在一个演讲中或者一个呈现中就很了解的。那反而我们邀请家长是不断的陪着孩子成长，所以我们一年中会有3个 parent coffees。那这个 parent coffee 的话，就是其实也是帮助家长对 PYP 的一个知识上面能够展现。在图片上面大家可以看到其实这时候不是上课的人不是学生了，是家长。其实家长同时在做协作，他就能够了解原来 PYP 的课程老师在课堂上是怎么样去带动学生的学习。那我们也很高兴透过这样子的一个活动，家长对 PYP 的课程有更深入的理解。那我们一年都有3场家长的咖啡座谈会。所谓的咖啡座谈会，就是我们会准备一些小点心、小咖啡，但是我们希望家长能够在一个很轻松的一个环境中，跟着我们一起成长。
Through parent coffees, parents get to experience as well how the students learn. So for them, we provide activities and approach it as if they are the students inside our classrooms.
刚才钢板讲的，就是我之前都已经帮大家也多加以说明了哦。那也就是说，其实我们也让家长像学生一样，能够体验 PYP 的课程是怎么样去进行的。那你可以看画面里面的家长，其实他们都很高兴，因为自己当了学生以后才知道说，原来 PYP 的课程是这么的灵活。
Next is you can be one of our guest speakers. As I mentioned in the finding out stage, we invite experts to help our students understand a concept. So for this one, we have invited department heads of other municipalities to help us when the students are learning about government. We also invited experts in members of the NDRRMCs to help the students understand the hazards, the natural hazards, and how to respond to them. And as parents, of course, if you are an expert in one field, we would be very grateful to have you as well as our guest speakers.
在 PYP 的学习中其实家长的参与是一个很重要的。那您怎么样参与呢？像刚才说的家长咖啡说明会，那另外一个就是你也可以成为我们的演讲嘉宾之一。如果你是具有在某个行业上面是具有专业知识的，那刚好我们的单元讲授的是需要这样子的人才，您可以自告奋勇的成为我们的演讲嘉宾，甚至你也可以推荐我们说，哪一个地方官员他刚好是对这个部分是比较专业的。那你也可以推荐让他成为我们的演讲嘉宾之一。
And lastly, you may attend or please do attend our parent-teacher conferences. Every term we allow our parents to come in and look at the works of the students. These parent-teacher conferences are one-on-one, wherein we only meet only you, so that we can focus only on your child and share with you the progress and the things to improve, the improvements that your child made in the term. Our conferences can also be a student-led or a three-way conference, like the one in this picture, wherein the students are the one presenting or sharing what they have learned to their parents.
我们的家长会有很多的方式那第一个就是可能就是只有家长跟老师，那我们是采取1对1的，让家长能够清楚的明了学生的一个学习状况。那个是在我们的目前这个荧幕上面的左边，那就是1对1的家长。那很明显这位家长可能还需要中文翻译，我们还会有中文老师在旁边进行协助。那另外一个是在我们的右手边的这个部分您可以看到这个叫做所谓的student-led conference， 就是学生自己引导的。那在这个部分，家长会听到学生自己呈现，我在这一段时间学习哪边我进步了，哪边我还是做的不好。那你也可以看到老师坐在对面，就是看着他跟家长去做互动。那我相信有的时候学生在家里是很少跟家长进行这样子的互动，学校提供这样的机会，让家长能够进一步的知道学生他可能在学校里面他所遇到的困难，他的成就在哪个部分这样子。
All right, that's it. That is the end of my presentation. Now, let us take a look at our classrooms in our Southmont campus.
刚才以上是我们针对 PYP 的课程所做的说明。那接下来我们来看一下我们的 Cavite Campus， 就是我们的 Southmont 的教室。那在图片上面就是我们所呈现的 PYP 的教室。
All right, so these are some pictures of the classrooms, the materials that will be there, that the students will be using in their stay. This is the homeroom class. You can see the chairs, they have their lockers here. Okay. Then there will be a lot of copies for them. A mobile library that would allow the students to be more into reading.
这个的话是我们 Southmont 的教室。那您可以看到我们每一间教室它的课桌椅的设计方式是一个 比较能够做讨论的教室，而不是传统的教室方式。大家应该很清楚哦。The traditional classroom setting will be row by row。OK， 传统的教室是一排一排的。那我们的教室之所以呈现像这样子，是方便学生能够进行讨论。那甚至有一些座椅的一个排列方式不一样，那都有它的一个特别的一个作用在。那你也可以看到，next slide please。下一张 slide 的话，你可以看到Miss Gambad next slide please。
Alright, there.
OK， 您可以看到远远的那里哦，我们还装了所谓的互动式的 OK 一个电子白板哦。那我们说是要它就电视哦，就是说它可以是互动式的，那学生可以在上面写，那老师也可以在上面写。那这个部分的话是非常先进的，也就是说我们真的是在投资我们的教室设备上面，我们花了很多的心思，也花了很多的金钱在上面，为的就是能够让学生能够更进一步的接触最新的科技。
Yes. Okay, so the chairs are arranged differently to allow more collaborations from the students.
这就是我说的，像我们的在排列座椅上面的话，有不同于传统，为的就是能够让学生们方便于讨论。那接
Okay,
下来，Miss
now
Gambad please。
these are the pictures of our music classroom.
大家可以看到，这个是我们非常漂亮、非
Yeah.
常先进的音乐教室，对不
Yes.
对？
This would help our students. We aim for our students to learn how to play instruments, be more engaged on how they would express themselves.
所以在这个教室里，你看还有一个小小的舞台，然后呢，我们也会教导学生学习各种乐器。
And of course, our visual arts classroom. This is a space for them to create, to be more imaginative, to express their creativity.
那这是我们的视觉艺术教室，你可以看到，我们在安排上面，就是希望说学生能够在这里尽情的展现他们的创造力、他们的想象力。
There are more things for us to show, and they are all on the way.
OK， 那当然，我们除了教室之外的话，其他的一个设备我们也都在积极的扩建中。那接下来我们在下一场的说明会或者下一场的 Open House 都会带领家长进一步的去参观我们的学校。
There. Thank you so much, everybody.
好，谢谢
Alright.
各位家长。然后接下来的话，由我们的 Sir Ian 来帮助我们。
Thank you, Ms. Gamban. Thank you, Ms. Sarah. At this moment, we are now opening the floor for questions and clarification, dear parents. So if you want, you can unmute your microphone and say it orally, your questions and your concern, or you can use the chat box to chat your questions. And Ms. Sarah, Ms. Gamban, I'm also going to highlight our administrators so that they can also answer some queries of the parents.
各位家长，现在就是我们的Q&A， 或者说我们的问题跟解疑。有任何的问题，欢迎大家可以打开你的麦克风，然后呢跟我们进行现场的沟通。那如果你比较害羞，OK， 你也可以在我们的聊天室里面打入您的问题。然后接下来我们的行政人员都会一一的替大家解惑。OK，Thank you, Sir Ian.
So we have our first question here from the chat box from Ms. Sharon. Since the Southmont campus is still the candidate school, how long will this campus take to be fully accredited or verified? And whatever the prior year course taken will be recognized among the IB institutions.
Okay, Ms. Gamban, would you like to answer the question also, or do you want me to answer it?
Ms. Sarah, I think I would like to share that according to the policy of the IB, it would take us at least a year to be authorized. We would apply for authorization in the year 2025. Please add some more, Ms. Sarah, and if I missed something.
OK， 各位家长在问题里面打的是说，现在我们的 Southmont 是一个 candidate school， 好，就是候选学校。那什么时候我们会变成是正式的 World School？OK，那在这一段时间的话，我们所教授的课程会受到 IB 的一个承认吗？各位家长，刚才 Miss 冈板也讲了，我们的一个 IB 的学校，尤其是 PYP 跟 MYP，它必须要在学校开始运作之后，才可以去做所谓的申请授权。所以我们的话，在1年之后，最快1年，因为根据我们 IBO 的一个条规规定，就是我们进行课程之后的1年后，我们才有办法去申请authorized。那这个部分大家不用担心哦，因为我们在马尼拉的校区是 World School， 那我们是同一个 John Kaiser College， 所以所有的课程我们是 plan together， 所以大家不用去担心。OK， according to the IBO, all the MYP and PYP school, if you want to ask for the authorization, we need to have 1 year try run school. So meaning to say this 1 year actually will give us to establish our school, to find out the problems, to really develop, John Kai-shek our features in the school. So in the policy, it says at least 1 year for us to apply for that. Okay, so as for the courses, no worries, okay, because Padre Elge is a world school already, and then even we are the candidate school, it's also recognized by the IBO. So there is no differences, but the candidate school is for school to get ready to continue making sure, okay, this school, we can have our own unique characteristics so that, we can apply for the world school. But, in terms of the planning implementation, guys, we are very lucky since we have Padre Elge, we are the world school already. So basically we are cloning our best practices into the Southmount. And then we are helping the Southmount campus to have their own unique characteristics in the future. Okay, I hope I answered the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Sarah, for that. I was also a witness of the verification of the PYP. That's why I think our coordinator, Ms. Gambat, and teachers, of course, Ms. Sarah, our administrators, are already experienced with the process and the procedure of the verification and accreditation. I also have a question here, Ms. Sarah, but I think you're the only one who can read this.
Okay, the question is, the pictures that we saw earlier regarding about the classrooms, are they the Manila campus or the Southmount campus? Okay, the answer is the Southmount campus classrooms. Okay, 刚才所看到的教室图片是我们新的校区在Cavite 的校区 Southmount campus 的教室。那现在在马尼拉，我们正在积极的盖一座12楼的大楼。那这个部分的话，我们一样在未来大楼在2年半以后成立之后 ，OK 盖起来之后，我们也会用最先进的设备。那这个都是我们的 BOT 大力的支持，所以我们现在就是 BOT 的一个最大的愿望，就是希望我们把最好的能够呈现给学生，呈现给家长。
All right, dear parents, we're still accepting questions, queries, or comments if you have. So please send it right away in the chat box.
各位家长，您可以打开你的麦克风，或者说您可以像刚才3位家长一样，都在聊天室里面打入你们的问题。那我们很欢迎大家能够提出问题。我们所有的行政人员都在这里，请大家就是不要害羞，可以发问问题。
There is one question from Miss Princess Ang here, Ma'am Sarah, Miss Gamba. In PYP, do you still have examinations?
All right. So for in terms of assessment, we do not have pen and paper exams. However, we do have formative assessments that help the teachers be informed on how much the students are learning. So we still have quizzes, but as I said, they are just formative, not just to inform the parents, the students on how they are learning. Okay. Our assessment mainly focuses on performance-based assessments like the summative assessment, wherein, as you've seen earlier in the picture, the presentation of the kids about how they created their product. That is a summative assessment that the students will do every unit.
Okay, if I can add, Ms. Gamban, I think in
Sure,
terms of exam, 我们说考试哦, in terms of exam, there are two forms, formative and summative. Okay, but for the PYP, formative assessment, it's not only for the students, but also for teachers to learn how much students understand the teacher, how much students are with the teacher, are we on the right track, or do we need to adjust our curriculum to make sure every kid is not falling behind? So that's the formative assessment. In the formative assessment, there are many forms as well, such as recitation, such as assignment, homework. Okay, we do limited our paper pen test. Why? Because kids sometimes are too young. We don't want to toxical them. Let's put it that way. But for the summative assessment, okay, it's really the time for us to see how students grow from the beginning of the unit until the end of the unit. And just like Ms. Gamba mentioned, it's a performance type. So for kids in the performance type, they will be able to use whatever they learned and whatever they feel comfortable to demonstrate, to showcase to the teachers. For example, in our Patri LG, we just finished our summative assessment. In grade 3, if I'm not mistaken, there's a storytelling. Okay, that's students' summative assessment. You will see students that they are using English to tell their story. You will see students use Filipino to tell their story. You will see students that use Chinese to share their story. The reason is very simple. They are using something they feel comfortable and confidence to share with everyone, to share what they have learned. OK， 那我稍微做翻译一下哦。我们刚刚在讲说考试的问题哦 ，PYP 有没有考试？考试有2种，我们说传统的考试是所谓的纸笔考试，那种东西在 PYP 上面几乎比较少见，但是我还是要讲是有的，因为有一些基本常识我们还是得考，像说拼音字啊、写字啊这些东西。但是呢，基本上我们会有2种，一个是形成式的评估。所谓的形成式评估，英文叫做 formative， 它的意思就是说，让老师也了解学生是不是已经学到了，还是也让老师了解，哎，我的进度是不是过快了？学生好像还没有完全理解，那我可能要把我的进度放慢一点。所以这个 formative 是真的针对学生、针对老师一起去做改善。那最后的话有一个叫做 summative， 就叫总结性评估。总结性评估的话，就是我们要去看验收一下学生从一个单元的开始。学习6周之后，学生到底学到了什么？他能够呈现什么？对我们来讲，这个是让学生去展示他们的学习成果，而不是虽然是老师也要验收啊，但是我们主要是说让学生能够真正的展示他们学习的成果给老师们看。哦，那这个部分的话是关于考试的部分，希望我们在这个部分解释得清楚了。谢谢。
All right, thank you, Miss Sarah. So as she mentioned, it's not only paper and pen. It's not just limited to that. So it can be a performance-based assessment. So formatives, you will also learn those terms as we go on with our pairing coffee and orientation, the formatives assessment and the summative assessment. We still have another question here, Ma'am Sarah, or a statement from Miss Hongjin, South, Mon, and then I need your powers.
Okay, all right. Okay, the question is asking, is there going to be like what regular classes, the standard program for the Southmont? If I'm not mistaken, the BOT is going to only have the IB program in the Southmont. So we will only have the PYP, MYP, and DP in the future. 所以这位家长，我们以后是比较没有普通班的，我们主要是走 IB 路线。因为未来哦，其实大家在看传统的，因为现在的科技进步太快了，传统的一个教育慢慢的是真的已经落后了。所以呢，我们大家一个视野跟眼光放大之后，我们看到是国际化的一个教育，这样子对学生在成长发展上面都会比较好。
Thank you, Miss Sarah. We have another question here. What is or are the other extracurriculum activity are being offered in sports? I think I can answer this, Ma'am Sarah. Being the student life slash discipline officer in the Padre Alvi campus, um, in the IB, dear parents, we do ask the kids, the students, to create their own club. We call this student initiated club. So that's the big difference. We allow the kids to explore their talents, their interests, and to create their clubs. Some example of clubs here are dancing club, they created that, international arts club, anime club, and we also have like study club. So those are the clubs that interest them and they created it. Ma'am Sarah?
OK，Sir Ian 他是我们在 Patriot 给的学生生活处的主任哦。那他在这里也分享了，我们在 IB 的话会有一些课后的 club，OK 俱乐部。那这些俱乐部的话，主要都是由学生自己 OK 去主动的去营造这些俱乐部。那未来在 Southmont。只要是 IB 的教育，我们大概都是以 IB 的一个基础教育的一个理念下去做发展。那您说的有关于运动类的这个部分，如果我们用马尼拉校区来看的话 ，OK， 其实我们都有一些运动的。OK，Sir, I think extra curriculum may also include like what the summer programs from our physical education. So we also offer like what basketball camp, for the students. So I think, in the future, Southmont will also develop that. Okay.
And with the great facilities, sports facilities in Southmont, I doubt that it will not have a great sports courses or summer programs, Miss Sarah. Miss
Yeah.
Abby.
我们在 Southmont 有一个非常是国际性的那个 gym，OK， 就是体育场。Everything, the facility in our Southmont actually is international standard. Okay, so even for the track and field, it is international standard. So I believe in the future, the sky's the limit. Okay, for me, we can offer a lot of program, especially what extracurricular activities as well. Yes, it just
Right.
takes some time. Okay.
I'm sorry, there's another question here in Chinese. Mei Ying Hong, Miss Mei Ying Hong chatted
Right.
a question.
Okay. The parent is asking, what courses are offered in grade 1. Okay. So Ms. Gamba, would you like to say that?
I'm sorry, Miss Sarah, the question is what courses?
What courses, what subjects are
what
offered in
subjects are
grade?
offered?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for the grade 1 students, they have or they are offered 3 languages. They have LA English, LA Chinese, LA Filipino. They have English math and Chinese math. They also have Chinese culture and 3 arts subjects like music, visual arts, and PSPE. So all their subjects come together to create their schedule. All are part of their curriculum.
OK，这位家长，我大概回答一下哦。我们的课程其实跟普通班的课程都是一致的，一定有数学、科学、语言。那英文的话是其中一个。我们 PYP 最大的课程不一样，就像我们刚才前面所说的，在所有的课程之外，我们还有一个 UOI， 这是我们有别于一般课程不同的地方。所以你可以看到，像刚才 Miss Gamba 有讲到，我们有 Chinese、English、Filipino，OK， 3个语言的课程。那再过来的话，在马尼拉的校区，我们还有 Chinese Math， 还有 Chinese Culture。OK， 也是语言的课程。那因为中正一直以来，我们所最大的骄傲就是我们的中文课程是把学生带出来之后，都是非常有专业性的一个3语人才、4语人才，所以我们持续的往这边去迈进。那我们有音乐课。有体育课，还有艺术课，这些跟普通班都是一样的。唯一一个不同的话，最大的不同就是你会看到我们有很多的 UOI。那 Unit of Inquiry 是在普通班里面是没有的，因为要进行这样的课程，一定要小班制。OK， 那除了小班制之外，还要老师要很多的耐心去引导学生去做这样的课程。希望我们的回答您清楚。OK。
All right, thank you, Miss Gambal and Miss Sarah. There is a
Sorry, I just would like to add to the question earlier regarding the sports facilities or the curriculum. We have in Southmont a world-class track and field oval for our sports. So that is for an exploration in the near future. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Miss Gambal, for that addition. There is a concern here. Wouldn't this kind of examination, the one that you mentioned a while ago, make the students too lax?
Okay. So in the contrary, in my observation with the students have become more organized, have been more critical thinkers when they are preparing for these kinds of assessments, for our summative assessments. They are trained to create their own schedule. They learn how to think critically, to think outside the box, how to make their presentations, their performance-based tasks original, more creative. And so in that kind of aspect, I think the students are become better citizens, thinking more in a sense na they learn their concepts, they get to present their ideas better than just memorizing and then answering on papers and pen tests. Would you like to add this, Sarah?
Okay, let me translate first. OK，
啊
家长的一个发问哦，他说，如果按照我们刚才所说的考试方式，是一个所谓的比较呈现性的验收成果，学生学到什么的方式，会不会太轻松了？会不会对学生来讲太少了？但是我想，这个就是我们在讲全人教育哦。It's a whole person education, okay? Whole person development. We are not only focused on academics, okay? More focusing on how to develop the student, a learner, as a person. Okay, I believe everyone has a strength and weakness. I believe everyone has their potential to become a better person. And so we start from very young. Okay, unlike the traditional education, as long as you can score 100, meaning to say you are smart, but the person might be only memorized by heart, but doesn't know how to apply it in the real life. I feel the kind of learning is out of date. Okay, of course, I'm also being very critical. Okay, so some people, I have to say that, we have the different education. Okay, some people might be better in the traditional way of setting. Some people might be better in the international way of setting. But personally, I see the whole world, it has been changed. And I think the whole world is evolving very quickly. The traditional education maybe can get you very safely to graduate from grade school. But how about the junior high, senior high, and college? That would be something for us to ponder and to think as well. OK， 我相信教育有很多种哦，有些人适合在传统教育，有些人适合在国际教育。像我从小就是一个比较反骨的学生，传统教育比较不大适合我。那我自己后来找到自己个人的话，是在长大以后在念研究所，在英国念研究所找到自己了。那我觉得这个其实是很值得家长去商榷的。到底传统教育跟国际教育哪一种比较适合自己的小孩？哦，那你所谓说很轻松，其实轻松。如果真的有学到东西，那我选择轻松学习，但是有效果。OK， 我也选择我的孩子从小就很知道自己能够做什么，不能够做什么，喜欢什么，不喜欢做什么。我希望我的孩子能够勇于大胆的说出自己的所爱。那我会陪他在学习成长的路上，支持他选择他所爱的。OK， being a parent for me, I support my child's learning. I support what she chose, her passion is. So I think, that's really different from the traditional education. The international baccalaureate is really hoping that we can find out every kid's strength at the early time. We continue to nurture the child as the future leader. We want them to be critical. We want them to be able to communicate themselves, to express themselves even in a difficult situation. We hope they can, speak their mind, no matter, in what situation. So I think, it's a different way of nurture our future leaders. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Sarah, for that, and Ma'am Miss Gamban for those wonderful answers. There is a concern here again from Miss Connie Wee. Will there be a big transition for kids coming from a traditional way, switching to this IB program? I think we can relate to this, Miss Gamban and Ma'am Sarah.
Yes. To share for this school year, our PYP program had a significant increase in number. And most of the students who transferred from the standard program, who transferred to the PYP are from the standard program. Our students from the traditional classrooms are also excelling in our classrooms here in the PYP. They have become they just felt very new with the setup wherein they would have to interview people. They felt new in the idea of doing experiments inside the classroom. They felt new to the idea of presenting in front. And that is something that as teachers, we cater to, because that is the need that they have to excel as well in the program. We assist them in gaining more confidence in speaking in front. That's one of the observations that we have. We have to give them more positive reinforcements, because the confidence because they are not used to presenting. They're not used to doing performance-based. So a constant support are coming from the teachers in honing those skills that are where our students from PYP are very used to. So they don't have a struggle, or they don't find it difficult in terms of content, in terms of engaging in class discussions. What we have observed is that they feel new in the assessments that we do. They are not used to the things like like doing the tasks, summative assessments, and all. Sir Ian, how about you? How about our observations in terms of these things?
Personally, I think that the kids, especially at their age, they have this ability to easily adjust and to adopt. A while ago, Ma'am Sarah mentioned about sometimes our days are very different from our kids' days. Yesterday we attended an AI conference all about artificial intelligence. So you see, dear parents, every day there's a new thing, not just for technology, but also for education. And we need to adjust, adapt, and to change ourselves. Because the only constant in this world is change. And Chiang Kai-shek is offering an adjustment and an opportunity for us to go with that change, to take that change, and to flow with that change. Malasher?
Okay, let me translate first. Okay, Miss 刚板有讲到哦，就是说，学生如果从普通班转到了 IB 的班级，会不会有适应上的一个困难点？那我们发现的孩子是在内容教学上面，他们的适应性都没问题哦，因为基本知识的东西，我们普通班在学的，当然 IB 也得教，对吧？那在哪里他可能会出现比较需要适应呢？就是在怎么样去做 presentation， 怎么样站在大家的面前很有自信的去表达自己。那我相信这个东西的话，在老师的鼓励下，像 Miss Gamba 也讲，我们的老师在这个情况下都会去鼓励学生。那慢慢的，其实他们就会更喜欢去做这样子的事情，也更适应。哦，那像Sir Ian 也讲到，现在的世界变化很大，是吧？像我们昨天所有的 coordinate 去参加了一个 Google 的 AI 发表会，一个 seminar。那现在都是 AI 了 ，even AI for education。所以我们是真的要去好好的思考，我们所培养的孩子是为了未来培养，还是为了过去培养 ？Are we nurturing our students for the future or for the past? If we are frame them, okay, especially frame their learning by using our past learning experience, I think that's really out of the date. Okay, so for us to really embrace, okay, something new, and something that maybe in our past we never tried, that would be really good for our kids to prepare them for the future. OK，所以我还是要讲，每一个教育都有适合的孩子们，不是所有的人都很适合传统教育，也不是很多人都适合国际教育，但是找出最适合自己的。那有一件事情可能要跟家长分享的，就是我们的未来应该是我们自己可能预想不到的，因为这个世界变化太快，所以我们是真的要替学生准备好他们的未来，而不是说积极营的在课本上去钻研。我们说你叫孩子去死读死背一些历史人物，其实未来这些历史人物除了是非常有名的，那次等有名的，其实你 Google 就可以 Google 得到了，你还需要去了解，还要去背诵它嘛。我们就拿这一点来讲，就是学习上面的方式的确不一样。OK， all right then.
All right, I think we have another question from Miss Ming Hong. Ma'am Sarah?
Okay, in Manila campus, how many grade 1 classes? How many sections are there for the grade 1?
Okay, so in the Padre Algue campus, there are 2 sections for grade 1 and 1 section for grade 2. In each class, for our Southmont campus, there would be, to answer the other questions about how many students will there be in one classroom? For our Southmont campus, there will be 16 to 20 students in one class. That is according to our to Miss Luz from our registrar. For Padre Algue, we have a maximum of 18 students as of the moment in one class.
刚才家长的问题就是说，马尼拉校区有几个1年级的班级哦？那目前的话，我们是有2个1年级的班级，但是我们必须要讲了，因为我们现在因为新大楼正在盖，所以我们的收生也没有办法展开太多。等到新大楼盖好了，那这个部分的话，我们应该会期待有更多的学生加入我们。然后顺便提到，等一下下面有一个问题，就是说每一个班的人数，那每一个班的人数在新校区又是 Southmont 的校区的话，大概是16到20位同学。哦，那这个的话就顺便一起回答了，谢谢。
All right. So I think 2 questions were hit today. There's another question here, Ma'am Sarah, but it's in Chinese character.
Okay, are we going to arrange other activities like visiting the zoo, museum, or other places? 各位yes, okay, Miss Gama, just answer it first.
All right, so yes, mommy, we do have visiting zoos, museums, field trips. We call it Week Without Walls in the IB department. And of course, if the unit needs it, just like the one that I shared earlier for their finding out stage, if the unit needs to go outside the classroom and meet or do something outside, we would plan to make those things happen.
OK，各位家长，如果你有比较早进来的话，你会看到我们有播放2个录影带哦，视频。那个视频其实就是我们叫做我们有一个叫做 Week Without Wall， 就是1周里面是不在课堂上课的，所以我们会有一些活动是安排的，就是像所谓传统的所谓的户外教学哦，那这个我们都是有安排的啊，那。应该就是这样吧，就基本上我们一定都会带孩子出去的 ，OK？
All right. So there's a very interesting question from Miss Liza. How do you cater to students without Chinese background?
Okay, so for our students without Chinese background, first, I'd like to mention again that we do inside the classrooms differentiation to cater the students who really needs help. Okay, so differentiated activities are being provided, and of course we have our enhancement classes or the after school academic programs that we provide. These are sessions with these are sessions focused on learning a language or learning a specific subject with a teacher that is also expert on the field. Ms. Sarah, would you like
Yes,
to
and then if the student is starting from grade 1, I
add?
don't think that's a problem because we will start from the basic. Okay.
Yes.
From grade 1 up to grade 3, there's a certain progress we are expecting the students to achieve. But then if your child is from the grade 1, I don't think you need to worry that much. But still, just like Ms. Gamban mentioned, the ASAS after school, academic support program is a very good program for students who has a zero based in Chinese or zero based in English for them to enhance their language skills. Especially, it also depends on the parents. If you really want them to become, good at 3 languages, I will strongly encourage them to attend the classes.
If I may also add, Malaushar, Ms. Gamban, that because we only have few students, our homeroom teachers, our subject teachers are so dedicated and passionate in listing down and recording all the abilities of the kids. With that, we start from the abilities and in order if we can see some challenges, because some concern, that's why we have the ASAS, we have the ASASL programs to support and cater the needs of your kids. That's how dedicated the team is in developing the skills, especially the language of your kids. Sarah?
OK，刚才我们说的问题是说，有位家长在说，如果我的小孩是零基础的中文，那我们要怎么样去上课？其实从1年级开始的中文其实我们还是要讲就是课程中以英文为主。那中文的话，既然是从1年级开始，我们还是会从基础的东西开始教起。那如果说我们一个年级有2个班级的话，那我们甚至会把它分成2组去上课。所以这个部分学校已经有机制，知道怎么样去处理，所以大家也不用太担心。但是我们会希望家长们如果想要把一个语言学得更好，让学生们能够更快速的进步，可以考虑参加课后的所谓的 ASAS language 的一个学习，那这样子能够加速学生的学习。
All right, Ma'am Sarah, I think there's another question here in Chinese character.
Okay, if there is only 1 class per grade level, is there any punishment or awarding mechanism, activities or competition or contest? I think we really aiming to have the essential agreement with the students. And for the essential agreements, maybe Ms. Gamban, you can talk about it to the parents.
Okay. Essential agreements, Miss?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So essential agreements are we establish it in the Learning to Learn week as early as possible for the kids. It is used to establishing routines inside the classroom. It helps the students be guided on what are the things that they need to do or need to follow inside. Basically, these are rules inside the classrooms, but we allow the students to help create these things, these rules that they have to do or follow inside for their agency so that they would also feel that they have a voice inside the classroom. It is for establishing routines. It is something that they memorize or get familiar to us as it is used from the start of the school year until the end. And it is also the same for all the subjects, not just for one teacher that is being that is their teacher for that time, but the essential agreements is consistent through all the subjects.
Miss Gamban 讲了一个，就是我刚才所提到的，我们有一个叫做 essential agreement， 也就是说班级公约。 哦，那这个班级公约以前传统的时候是老师定出来的，但是现在这个班级公约是由同学们自己制定的。那我们也会让学生养成平时的一个习惯，日常习惯。所以这个跟班级上面只有一个班级，或者说一个年级只有几个班级，那其实都没有关系的。那每一个老师，每一个科目的老师也都有自己的一个班级公约，所以在这个部分的话，请家长不用去担心。那您说什么比赛？我们活动比赛只要是外面有参加的比赛，我们都会鼓励学生参加。那当然就是要看学生的兴趣哦。OK。
All right. So I think we're down to our last two questions. How many students allowed in TYP? We already answered that. But the follow-up question is, how many teachers are there, maybe in one class or one section?
So for one homeroom class, there's one homeroom teacher. But of course there are our subject specialist teachers who teach them the different subjects for Chinese and for visual arts, music, and PSPE. For the Filipino subject, it is often taught as well by the homeroom teacher, or if we have an available Filipino teacher, then the Filipino teacher will be the one to do it.
OK，正常的话，我们是一个班的话，就是一个班导师、班主任。那班主任他会所教的科目就是英文、数学、科学，还有 UOI 这四个科目是由班主任去带。那其他像中文老师有中文老师，然后非语老师基本上是有非语老师，或者说由班主任再去兼任。那像体育课有体育课的老师，艺术课有艺术课老师，音乐课有音乐课的老师。好，所以我们的老师的话，就是如果你要说在一个班级里面待下来，学生会最常看到就是班导师这样子。
To add as well, there is a ratio of 1:16. 1:16 students.
OK，那基本上就是1:16哦，以 Southmont 来讲的话。
All right. And for our last question, Ma'am Sarah.
How about the lunch? Are we okay? Is the school going to cater students' lunch, or the students need to purchase their own lunch?
Our practice is the students here. Our practice in Padre Algue is the students' lunch can be delivered by their parents before lunchtime. For the kinder students, they have a what do you call it, Ms. Sarah? Their food
Catering company,
catering company
yeah.
offers the food. For the Southmont, however, I am Miss Luz maybe can help us
Yeah,
in this.
hello. Oh, sure. Regarding that question, for the lunch, we actually are preparing and we've been discussing this issue since our King Bee roadshow. And this time, the administrators and the Board of Trustees are already making some arrangements regarding this. But of course, the parents can still bring the packed lunch for their children. It's still it is still allowed. It's actually what we call free sending of their lunch over there. Okay. So yes, Ms. Sarah, can you please translate?
家长们如果对于午餐的问题的话，自行我们所谓的就是说，家长如果要自己帮孩子们带午餐，这个都没问题的。那当然就是说，我们在那里也慢慢的在购置，可能会有一些餐厅哦。那到时候的话，如果说学生想要在学校进行用餐的话，购买不是个问题。包括我们在 Padre Algue 也是这样子的，就是说学生如果说家长住在附近。然后呢，想要帮学生送午餐，这个都可以的。所以我们还是给家长自己的一个选择性啊，还是给家长自己选择性。谢谢。
And I think that's it. Ma'am Sarah, Ma'am Luz, Miss Gambat. Those are the questions. Now, may I ask everyone to, Miss Gambat, you want to say something?
Oh, there's just something that I would like to share. This is a photo of the oval, the track and field. Just for the parents to see. This is the track and field in our Southmont campus. Okay, and there is also a basketball court in our campus that is also being polished as of the moment. Okay,
Yeah,
So
for
it's a-
imagine,
yeah.
现在大家在屏幕上看到的是我们的操场哦，那您可以看到，就像我刚才所说的，我们的操场都是国际化标准，所以您可以看到它的一个设计部分哦。那未来要踢足球都不会是一个问题的。那另外我们还有一个篮球场，好，那这个篮球场的话，已经也是国际标准的。那图片的话之后会再附上。
all right. So imagine your kids running there or doing their exercise or their PSP there. So we're looking forward, dear parents, to collaborate more and to talk about what POIP is all about. So for that, may I request everyone to please turn on their cameras so that we can document this event, our parent orientation.
各位，我们现在已经进行到节目的最后了。那我们是不是请所有的家长都把你们的摄像头打开，我们来拍一个合照，这样子来纪念一下，这是我们第一次 Southmont 在线上的一个会议记录呢？谢谢各位家长。
All right, I will now take a screenshot. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. One more, we're to page 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you, dear parents. I know that change can sometimes be scary, but rest assured that we are here. The administrations are here to explain. And what you're going to do is you're supporting your kids as parents to have wings and roots, to have a better foundation of education, the Sikation way. Thank you so much, dear parents. Miss Sarah.
谢谢各位家长的参与，我相信，在学生的成长中，由您的出现来照顾他们，像 Sir Ian 说的 root and wings 啊，就是说他们的一个基础教育的一个根基，以及让他们能够展翅，可以好好的一个高飞。我相信这是一个最大的支持。那再次感谢家长在星期六拨冗来参加我们的线上会议。OK，希望有时间再跟大家谈论一下 PYP 的课程。谢谢。
With that, we thank you again and see you all next time. Thank you so much. Be safe for always.
谢谢大家，再见，拜拜。
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.